I never liked school cameras. Maybe because they captured versions of us we never approved, awkward smiles, forced expressions, shirts slightly wrinkled, hair refusing to sit flat no matter how much we pressed it down with sweaty palms. But this photo, this one wasn't supposed to exist. It was a joke. Just a stupid, impulsive moment between class, when the hallway was empty and curiosity outweighed responsibility. Her name was Madison Cole, the most meticulous, perfection-obsessed editor the school yearbook had ever witnessed. She had standards so high, even the school board whispered her name like she was royalty, or a threat. She was smart. She was intimidating. She was respected and feared in equal capacity. And unfortunately, on that particular morning, I decided to mess with her camera setup. The photography room door was open. The studio lights were still on from her early shoot. A mannequin wearing a floral pink dress stood in the corner, props for some layout she was designing titled, "Through the Years, A Journey of Style." My friends dared me, that's how it always starts. Bro, wear the wig. Pose like a model. Let's see who can take the stupidest picture. I slipped the long brown wig over my head, just to get a laugh. The curls fell past my shoulders, brushing my cheek like a whisper that didn't belong to me. Then came the sunglasses. Then the dress, only half on, just draped over me like a sash. The camera flashed. Click. Another flash. Click. But the third click wasn't ours. The third click belonged to her. The door closed. The heel of her boots echoed once, twice, like the ticking countdown before something explodes. Her voice sliced through the air. "Take your hands off my equipment." I froze. The wig slid from my head, but the damage, the real damage, was already caught by the lens. She walked toward us, not rushed, not angry exactly, something worse, disappointed and calculating. My friends vanished like smoke in the wind, scrambling past her mumbling excuses. Madison didn't spare them a glance. Her eyes were on me. Only me. She picked up the camera and scrolled through the screen. Not laughing. Not even smirking. Just cold focus. "You know," she said softly, "this room is locked for a reason." I didn't touch anything important," I stuttered. She held up the camera. "That depends. Do you consider your reputation important?" My stomach dropped. "I'll delete it," I said quickly, reaching out, but she pulled it back. "No," she replied. "You won't." Her tone carried a calm that terrified me more than shouting could. I expected her to go straight to the principal. I expected suspension. Calling parents. Public humiliation. But she turned her back, plugged the camera into her laptop, and said 6 words I didn't understand then, but would never forget. "You're going to help with the yearbook." The next day she found me at my locker. "Meet me in the studio after 6th period." But I don't. It wasn't a request. Her eyes flicked to her camera case. The message was clear, she had leverage. I spent the entire day imagining pointless tasks, carrying tripods, moving backdrops, sweeping floors. Annoying, humiliating busy work but manageable. The studio was silent when I entered. She was waiting. But the mannequin was gone. Instead, laid neatly across the chair, was the same floral pink dress. And next to it, makeup. A brush. Lip gloss. A straightening iron still warm. I swallowed. "No way," I said. Madison crossed her arms. "You wanted to play dress up yesterday. Now you get to help legitimately." "That's a girl's dress." "That's the assignment," she said, voice even but final. "Our yearbook needs a retro revival fashion page. Modeling slots are full, except one." "You've got to be kidding me." "I'm not." She approached slowly, almost studying my face. "You want the punishment gone? The photos? The rumor that someone might overhear?" Her smile wasn't cruel. It was confident. She knew she'd already won. My hands shook as I lifted the dress. Soft. Cool. Delicate. Fabric not meant for me. My reflection stared back, a boy holding something that could rewrite him if he wasn't careful. Madison tossed a garment bag onto the table. "And these are tights. You'll need them." "Tights?" "Relax," she said. "They're just clothing. Fabric doesn't bite." "Fabric may not bite, but humiliation does." I changed in the side room, each layer making me feel less like the person I believed myself to be. The dress zipped up my back. The tights hugged my legs like a second skin. My hair was combed, styled, and clipped into place. Madison worked with surprising precision. No mockery. No jokes. Just focus. When she stepped back, she didn't laugh. She just stayed, for a moment too long. Her voice softened. Don't move. The camera flashed. Click. 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 A different kind of photo. Not a joke. A portrait. My heart pounded against the fabric as if trying to break out. This looks good, she whispered, mostly to herself. I didn't know if that made it better or worse. The bell rang, but Madison didn't stop shooting. Finally she lowered the camera. This will work, she said quietly. But there's more. More. Her lips curled slightly, not a smirk, not cruelty, a plan. You'll come again tomorrow. Same time. Different outfit. Tomorrow? You said one assignment. No, she corrected. I said you'd help with the yearbook. She leaned in, not close enough to touch, but close enough to control. You want your secret safe? You keep showing up. You keep modeling. And nobody will ever see that first photo. My throat was dry. So, how long? She didn't hesitate. Until the yearbook is complete. That was 4 months away. I walked out of the studio still dressed in that floral pink fabric beneath my jacket, the hem brushing my thigh like a reminder. But the real shock waited outside the door. 2 girls from the cheer team turned the corner. Their eyes dropped to my legs. Their conversation stopped mid-sentence. Their expressions froze, then slowly changed into something sharper. It took me 1 second to realize. Madison hadn't given me the normal exit. She sent me out the side door that opened directly into the hallway while students were leaving class. And as the cheer captain whispered to her friend, eyes locked directly onto my 2 smooth legs in those unmistakable tights, I realized something. This wasn't just punishment anymore. It was a setup. A test. Or something even bigger. And I had no idea what Madison planned next. The worst part wasn't the whisper. It was the pause before it. The fraction of a second when the world stops breathing, when eyes lock and judgment isn't spoken yet, but felt like a slap long before the words arrive. The cheer captain's stare lingered a moment too long. Her gaze traveled down my legs, over the faint shimmer of the tights that I prayed the hallway light exaggerated. She tilted her head, lips parting in curiosity, maybe suspicion, maybe something far worse. Her friend leaned in. A whisper. A tiny, poisonous thing. Then the smirk that followed. They walked past, shoulder-checking me harder than necessary, not enough to knock me down, but enough to let me know I didn't belong in that hallway looking the way I did. I turned the corner quickly, my heartbeat echoing louder than the end-of-day bell. I pulled my jacket lower, tugging at the fabric that still felt foreign and fragile against my skin. I didn't breathe until I reached the bike rack. Until the air outside diluted whatever tension lingered behind me. But anxiety travels faster than wind. When I got home, I expected relief. My room, my clothes, normalcy. But the moment I shut my bedroom door and peeled off the dress, something unexpected happened. I hesitated. The hem lingered between my fingers. The softness pressed against my palm. A strange thought flickered. Unwanted, unwelcome. I didn't look as ridiculous as I thought. I shook it off, stuffing the dress deep inside my backpack like evidence of a crime. I washed off the faint traces of makeup Madison had brushed across my cheeks, barely visible but I could still feel it. My reflection looked back, ordinary, familiar, and yet somehow less finished? No. I wasn't thinking that. I was just tired. That's all. The next morning, I avoided everyone. Head down. Hood up. Don't engage. But in school, avoidance is like blood in the water, it attracts sharks faster. By 3rd period, whispers multiplied. They saw him after class yesterday. Wearing something weird. He was in the photography studio. Madison's project. Did he volunteer? Volunteer? He would never volunteer. My best friend, Zach, caught up with me during lunch. Dude, why is everyone talking like you're joining the fashion club? Blood froze. What are you talking about? He shrugged. Rumor. Something about modeling for Madison's retro theme. My mouth opened, but no words came out. He kept talking. Too casually. Too loud. You? Modeling? That's hilarious. Bro, you'd look like a shadow fell over our table. Madison set down her lunch tray without asking. Her voice was neutral but her eyes were loaded. I think, she said calmly to Zach, that jokes about things you don't understand make you look insecure, not funny. Zach scoffed. I didn't even say anything. You were going to. Her confidence was unnerving. Her presence, dominating. Zach muttered something under his breath and walked away. Madison slowly unwrapped her sandwich like we were in some normal conversation. You didn't tell anyone, she stated, not asked. I didn't. Good. She lifted her phone. On the screen, the floral dress photo. Exposure perfect. Lighting intentional. Expression shockingly composed. If rumors start getting too specific, she said softly, all it takes is one post. Anger surged. Why are you doing this? I said I was sorry. No, she replied, locking her screen. You said you didn't think it was a big deal. Her eyes locked into mine, unflinching. Now you'll learn that it is. 6th period. Studio lights. Fabric swatches. 3 outfits on the rack today. Not 1. 3. Madison folded her arms. We're expanding the concept. I stared at the outfits. A pastel sweater and pleated skirt. A denim skirt with a cropped graphic tee. And worst, the soft lavender dress with lace sleeves. You can't make me wear those. She raised a brow. Correction. I already did. She gestured to the laptop. A new folder. My name. I felt heat rise in my face. One photo shoot wasn't leverage enough, she explained casually. But a series? That guarantees silence. My fists tightened, but there was no fight I could win. The sweater was first. It felt wrong yet, strangely right? Warm. Comfortable in a different way. Madison adjusted the sleeves, tugged the fabric, repositioned my hair. Her fingers brushed lightly against my jaw. Look up. The camera flashed. With every click, I felt something in me unravel. Uncertainty. Fear. Curiosity. The cropped tee exposed more of me than I liked. The lavender dress exposed parts of me I didn't even know existed. But through the lens, Madison wasn't mocking. She wasn't ridiculing. She was studying, as an artist studies light and shadow. Turn slightly, she whispered. Relax your shoulders. Don't look away, hold eye contact. It felt less like a punishment, and more like a transformation she already envisioned. After 2 hours, I changed back, but something lingered. The faint smell of her setting spray. The smoothness of the foundation that still clung to my skin. The echo of camera clicks that made my heart race for reasons I didn't want to analyze. As I left the studio, Madison spoke, calm, definite. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Tomorrow. The word hit heavier than it should. I walked away. Slow, quiet steps. But halfway down the hall, I caught my reflection in the trophy case glass. Not dressed up anymore. Just me. Basic hoodie. Jeans. Same hair. Same face. But my mind filled in details that weren't there. Longer lashes, glossy lips, smoother skin. I imagined the reflection differently. And worse. Part of me liked the imaginary version better. The next day, people didn't whisper. They stared. A group of sophomore girls watched me walk by in the cafeteria line. One of them smiled, friendly, knowing, almost approving. I didn't understand why until she waved her phone subtly. A picture. Not the floral dress. Not the cropped tee. Just enough to imply, without confirming. Madison was controlling the release. Not exposure. Implies. Hints. Fuel without fire. My reputation wasn't destroyed. It was changing shape. Some guys avoided me. Some girls looked longer than usual. Teachers raised brows like they knew something but couldn't say it. And Madison? She walked past me once in the hallway, no words, but the smallest hint of a satisfied smile lifted one corner of her mouth. Not cruelty. Not victory. Possession. Friday afternoon, Madison sent a single text. Camera with flash final selection is ready. Need your approval. Approval? She never asked. Confused, I went to the studio. The lights were dim. Only one lamp illuminated the desk. On the screen were 5 photos, edited, treated, polished. Each one more shocking than the last. But the fifth stole my breath. Makeup flawless. Hair styled. Dress fitting in a way that looked intentional, not forced. Confidence, not fear, reflected back at me. But that wasn't the cliffhanger. Under the photo was a mock-up of the page titled, "A Modern Look at Gender Expression." Subheadline. Featuring, and where the blank line waited, Madison typed my name. Not my nickname. Not initials. My full, legal name. She turned to me slowly. "This isn't punishment anymore," she said quietly. "It's representation." I stared at her. Confused. Angry. Exposed. Drawn in. Stuck. She leaned closer, not threatening, almost gentle. "Tomorrow, the editorial committee votes." Votes. Meaning others would see it. Meaning it could be published. Meaning the world, our school world, would know. "All you have to do," she whispered, her breath barely reaching me, "is say yes." And that was the moment I realized. Madison didn't just want silence. She wanted agreement. Acceptance. Maybe partnership. Or maybe something deeper and far more dangerous. The classroom was empty, the janitor's distant footsteps echoing down the hall like a heartbeat I couldn't control. Madison had left instructions: try the looks alone before the editorial meeting. You'll understand why. At first, I wanted to protest. I wanted to rip the dress from my backpack, throw the wig in the trash, scrub the lipstick from my lips that hadn't even been applied yet. But curiosity, dangerous, thrilling, had already crept in. I set up a mirror I found in the art room. Not full length, but enough. Enough to reflect a version of myself I hadn't met before. The lavender dress lay across a chair. Its lace sleeves looked delicate, like spiderwebs catching the light, but I noticed the weight of possibility in them. I reached for the fabric. Fingers trembling. Cold, silky, unyielding to my expectation. The lace tickled my skin, sending shivers down my arms. A voice in my head, the same one that whispered "don't," was drowned out by another, "Why not?" I slipped into it. The dress hugged my shoulders, chest, and waist in ways that felt unnatural. Wrong. And yet, there was a rhythm to it, like the fabric was teaching my body a new language. The wig next. Long curls tumbled down my back, brushing the small of my spine. The mirror reflected someone unrecognizable. My hands shook. Lips parted. Heart racing. This wasn't a joke anymore. Madison had left a small kit: foundation, blush, mascara, lip gloss, eyeliner. I stared at it. My fingers hovered. My stomach flipped. What am I doing? But the same curiosity, that treacherous thrill, compelled me. I dabbed foundation. The color blended. Oddly, beautifully. My freckles softened. My jawline smoothed. Blush followed. Cheeks warmed, as though I was alive in a new way. Mascara. Each stroke elongated lashes I never thought existed. Lip gloss. Sweet, sticky, almost intoxicating. And then I looked. Really looked. The mirror wasn't showing me the boy I'd always been. It wasn't showing me the joke, the dare, the punishment. It showed possibility. A girl? No. Not a girl. Aria. The name had already started forming in my mind like a secret. I twirled. Just a small spin. Not a dance. But the skirt flared like a fan. My body felt lighter, freer, trapped in a delicate paradox. Exposed yet empowered, awkward yet magnetic. I caught my reflection mid-twirl, caught my eyes widening with a mix of shock and excitement. And then it hit me, I was enjoying it. This was the problem. The danger. The thrill. Madison's instructions were sparse but precise. Walk like you belong. Speak like she belongs. Aria isn't afraid. I tried. Standing straight. Shoulders back. Neck elongated. I spoke aloud. My voice, lighter than usual, quivered at first, but soon found a rhythm. "Hello, Madison." The sound was strange. Unsettling. Magnetic. I repeated it. "Hello, Madison." The mirror became an accomplice. Each repetition rewired something deeper than my clothes. A persona forming layer by layer. Hands explored the outfit subconsciously. The hem of the dress, the cuffs, the neckline. Each fabric sensation sparked reactions I couldn't name. Not arousal, not exactly. Something more. Curiosity. Connection. Identity. I whispered to myself, "Who are you?" And the mirror didn't answer. It just reflected Aria, bold, hesitant, powerful, fragile, all at once. Hours passed unnoticed. I experimented with heels, unsteady, wobbly, terrifying. I practiced walking, adjusting hips, letting them sway just enough to feel natural. I practiced sitting, crossing legs, twirling hair, flicking eyelashes in the reflection. Each small victory surged confidence. Each misstep sent a shiver of shame. But one thing was clear, I couldn't stop. I even spoke aloud, narrating my own transformations, describing sensations and feelings to no one. My hands feel lighter. My legs feel stronger. My voice tastes new. By the time I left the studio, the janitor had returned. Footsteps echoed. I froze. But when I looked at my reflection in the hallway window, even under fluorescent lights, Aria remained. Not hidden. Not masked. Real. And the truth hit like ice. Madison wasn't punishing me anymore. She was teaching me to become someone I didn't even know I could be. I slipped the dress off reluctantly. Folded it. Stashed it in my bag. My phone vibrated. A new text from Madison. Tomorrow, same time. New look. Remember, confidence is not optional. I dropped my bag. Heart racing. Aria's reflection lingered in my mind. Not gone. Not hiding. And I realized something terrifying and thrilling at once. This wasn't just a punishment. This was the start of becoming her, fully. The editorial committee meeting. The cafeteria was transformed into a gallery of glossy pages, highlighters, and meticulously organized portfolios. Students filed in, teachers murmured critiques, and cameras clicked quietly in the corners. Everything felt heavier than usual, as if the air itself was aware of the tension building. Madison had sent me a single message that morning. Don't be late. Dress. Confidence. You Aria now. I didn't want to read it. I didn't want to obey it. And yet, deep down, I knew I would. I entered the cafeteria, my heels clicking sharply against the linoleum. Every head turned, not out of malice, but curiosity. Whispers traveled faster than sound. Is that him? Wow, she looks unreal. Wait, that's Zach's friend. I felt every eye dissecting me, judging me, comparing me to the boy I used to be. Madison waited at the front, camera slung over her shoulder, eyes calm, almost proud. She didn't smile. She didn't scold. She simply observed, like a scientist watching a successful experiment unfold. The portfolio lay open on the table. The fifth photo, the lavender dress, makeup perfect, hair flawless, was already printed and mounted. Committee members whispered among themselves. Then came the first voice I recognized. Wait. Zach? Is this him? Zach. My best friend since childhood. The one person I thought would never betray my secret. I froze. Yes, I heard myself say, voice lighter, unfamiliar. It's me. Aria. Shock. Disbelief. Murmurs. Snickers. Zach's face shifted rapidly, confusion, concern, incredulity. You're doing this, voluntarily. I swallowed. It's not exactly voluntary, I admitted. But, I've realized something. I don't know if I can go back. Gasps rippled through the room. Some students exchanged curious glances, others laughed nervously. Teachers raised eyebrows. Madison stepped forward. Calm, poised, in control. This is more than a project, she said. It's a journey. And Aria has embraced it. I felt every second like an eternity. Every memory of being the boy I once was pressed against me, urging retreat. Every laugh from classmates reminded me of vulnerability. Every approving glance from students fascinated me, tempting me to step fully into this new persona. My heart raced. My legs shook. My hands gripped the edge of the table, nails biting into the wood. But then, a small, quiet voice inside me whispered, "You can't hide now. You can't pretend. This is who you are, or who you might become." I looked at the photo, then at Madison, then at the faces of my peers. This was the moment of truth. I lifted my chin. Shoulders back. Heart pounding. "I approve this spread," I said, voice steady. "And I choose to be Aria. Fully. No going back." Silence followed. Then, applause. Quiet at first, then louder. Some hesitant, some amazed. Some still whispering. Madison's eyes softened, just a fraction. Her hand reached toward mine, brushing briefly. Encouragement, acknowledgement, perhaps pride. Zach stared at me. I expected anger. Disappointment. Confusion. Instead, he nodded slowly. "Okay, if that's who you are now. I'll support you." The cafeteria seemed to exhale collectively. From that moment, I walked differently. Every step was deliberate. Confident. Feminine. Strong. Students studied me, not to mock, but to admire, to understand. Teachers took notes, some whispering about the boldness of embracing identity at such a young age. Madison smiled. "You've done more than I imagined," she whispered. "Aria, you own this." For the first time, I believed her. Weeks passed. The yearbook was published. Aria's face graced the fashion page. Comments ranged from awe to curiosity. Friends, classmates, even strangers recognized the courage it took to step forward. And somewhere deep inside me, something shifted irreversibly. I wasn't just a boy in a dress anymore. I wasn't just a punishment. I wasn't just Madison's project. I was Aria. Strong. Confident. Proud. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Yet, even in triumph, there lingered a shadow. Madison had orchestrated the path. I had walked it. But the world outside, friends, strangers, peers, still held judgments. Would they accept Aria beyond the yearbook? Would they whisper, point, or celebrate? I caught my reflection one evening, long after school, long after applause. Aria stared back. Not afraid. Not hidden. But ready. Ready for the next challenge. Ready for the next chapter. Ready for the person I had become, by punishment, by discovery, by choice.